Chetan. With me is Chris. Chris, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
Chris, who do we have with us today?
We've got Bill.
Bill, introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is William Hernandez. I'm a cartoonist currently living in the Pacific Northwest. Um, yeah, I've been making comics for, I don't know, past, wow. Let's see. So roughly, like I would say the past 25 years on and
Oh,
off.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
more off than on, but like in the last, I would say 10 years, I've been like steadily kind of building up, doing more and more. You know, let's see. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, just making comics. I have a couple of new things coming out. I have a Cascadian Demo 2, which is a comic that I actually completed a few years ago, but we just haven't gotten it to print yet because of finances and technical issues. More
Yes.
finances because printing is it's been
Super
going up
expensive. Yeah.
steadily. Yeah, I feel like about 5 years ago it was in a really good spot because then you could probably print a comic and pay like maybe $2 for it, and that way you could actually have a decent markup. But now it's a little more challenging. You have to order like more
I've
books.
I've looked at it also. The one of the companies I used, yeah, it's increased drastically, and it's not even now comics. Printing wise, it almost doubled in price or tripled in some cases. And also shipping had Chris and I have talked about this on our previous episode. Printing and shipping has increased so much that, you know, honestly, I can't charge a person for a 20-page comic $20 because you know
Right.
what? That's it's ridiculous,
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, even putting together books at like Kinko's, that's ridiculous. Like, man, I should have pulled out stuff before. Let's see. Find
Now, where do
something.
you photocopy most of your books, or do you
So yeah, I mean, I've also done books with other people, as we do. And yeah, those have been printed like more conventionally. But give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. There. Well, there's one.
and these are full-size books, right? Like 24-page books.
There's two. Okay, so these are this one's like super rough, but this is like a
Oh,
Cascadian
wow.
one. And if you go to my Instagram page, it's like in the stories, so you could just kind of read it. It's about I don't know. I think it's let's say like 12 pages of story, and then like I threw some pinups in there. But yeah, this one took me a while, to
Is that professionally printed or is it photocopied?
this one is photocopied, and it's gonna stay that way because when I did it, I kind of, how you have like your page and it's formatted a certain way. It's generally 11 by 17,
Yes, that's it.
and then there's a 10 by 4, uh, yeah, 10 by 15 that you have to draw within. I kind of didn't do that correctly. So like some panels, like they kind of get like shaved off,
Trust
and you
me,
can
all of
kind
us
of
have
do it.
been through that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
No,
then,
because page formats change. It's because I've noticed one thing with comics now, when you go to certain printers and stuff, they have it standard printing, standard comic size, Silver Edge
right.
size, and it's like, shouldn't all that be the same? And I've noticed
Uh,
modern comics are slightly smaller.
Oh, yeah, that's, I mean, but are you, I'm gonna assume that we're close to the same age. So I don't know if you, I was born in the mid 70s.
Yes, we're about the same age. Yes,
Yeah, so
I'm older than you.
okay, so like the comics I grew up with, they weren't quite that silver age, I guess. It was more like the bronze
Yes,
stuff.
bronze, modern. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I has that size shrunk slightly, or is it
It. I've
still?
noticed when I was printing. Now here's my old crusty old comic book guy attitude. Comic format has changed and stuff slightly, but you know what? I still stick to the 11 by 17, 10 by 15 inside. That
Yeah.
whole old traditional. I still draw in that. Even though I do digital, I still have that same format on digital
Oh, yeah.
Although we could
because
go
I don't.
forever,
Sorry.
we could go forever talking about Chetan still uses the same layouts
I
from the
do.
original.
I do.
We
Same
talked about
layout,
that.
same
He's like a
everything.
stickler.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. Do you have it? Because I always see it as like a grid. Like no matter what is in there, it's always like I'm
Yes.
picturing like a three-tier, maybe sometimes a four-tier grid.
That's same thing with me.
Not me.
Chris and I were talking about this in a previous episode, where if you look at all my page layouts, it has that standard 70s, 80s style layout.
Yeah. I actually find that more like easier to read because you'll see like the modern, I guess
Yes.
we'll call it the image layouts, where it's
Yes.
not really a
Yes.
grid. It's like it almost looks like collages of images just kind of stacked
But
Yeah.
one thing
on
I've
each
noticed with
other.
your work, what the grid work is, and this is where hopefully, back me up on this, where when you do it in the grid work, you really have to concentrate on storytelling.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like the more open-ended layouts, and I feel like I should play with it more before I just kind of be like, no, this is garbage. I mean, like, yeah, yeah. I think it's more the timing, right? The
Yes.
timing aspect of the storytelling because you have those grids and it's like a constraint for readers. Where when you have the collages, like that sense of timing, kind of, it's it's a little looser. And I've read plenty of comics like that, and it's fine. But
Oh, it
I just,
works. And
yeah.
Chris is an example of between us and the younger crowd. So Chris is in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tend to go a little bit more sort of collagey, but not so bad. Like I have a grid system, but my characters bust out of their panels all the time. I have
Oh, okay.
half-page giant things with a couple boxes added. But I find that you can go a little bit more crazy with that stuff. Like if you're reading like a G.I. Joe comic, you want this. But if you're reading a Doctor Strange comic, if it's kind of difficult to follow,
Yes,
that's
that's
kind
it.
of the
Yes.
point.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that, but then I think about like P. Craig Russell. Like I don't know if you're
Yes.
familiar with his
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
Yeah. So it, like with his stuff, I feel like he kind of had both, and I'm kind of going back to his like more his '80s stuff. Like he did,
Oh, yes.
yeah, the Elric things that he did in Epic Illustrated, and I think
Yes.
they just printed like a graphic novel too of the first one. I guess they never did the second one, unless they have reprinted it and I just don't know about it. But he had kind of like sort of a grid, but it was also kind
It
of
came out
loose.
and also, yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
I mean, I think you could do both, but
Yeah.
But another artist on the hand, I mean, and mentioning Image was, and he was good at storytelling, I have to admit, but he had breakout panels. Also, McFarlane had panel layouts also, but his storytelling was good.
yeah.
Well, early on. Later on, he went, later he went crazy.
Crazy or went lazy. Yeah.
Yes, I
I
didn't
don't
want
know.
to.
I mean,
I didn't want to say that, but yes.
yeah. Yeah, no, shout out to Todd McFarlane because he was like a huge fucking influence on me when I was a kid. I mean, I still remember picking up Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think it was 298 was the first issue
Mm.
that he drew, and just the cover with I
Oh,
forgot
it
the
was
name of the
yeah,
character. It was like some
yeah.
mercenary type, character that's kind of disposable. But then,
When you go from Ron Friends to McFarlane,
yep,
that's a
yep,
huge difference,
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
you know.
exactly. I mean, I
So
love
you,
Ron Friends too, though. But
oh no, Ron
It's
Friends is
different.
amazing. Yeah, I love
yeah,
his
but
work.
yeah,
So you mentioned P. Craig Russell and McFarlane. What were your influences growing up?
um, those are two of them. This is always kind of a weird question for me because, I'm sure like the both of you, I've read a lot of comics, and they all kind of influence you, but I think at a certain point you have to kind of pick and choose, what you're going to add into your artistic soup. So it's
Yes.
like more of a conscious decision because I have a whole range of artists that I like. But the ones I think that influenced me artistically, I would say like John Byrne was the first one
Oh,
because
yes.
I used to try to draw like him for a while. Like I wouldn't copy like specific drawings, but he had like these little ticks, like the way he would draw maybe like a
Yes.
nose, a mouth, boots, whatever. So like I kind of picked some of that up subconsciously, but then I had to shed it later when I was like,
Yeah.
well, like I love John Byrne, but I don't want to be John Byrne. So the guys that really kind of stick with me to this day would be artists like Jim Starling, first and foremost. Even though I don't, my art looks nothing like his. Um, Tim Truman is another one that's like freaking
Yes.
like huge for me. Master
Oh,
storyteller.
amazing, amazing artwork. His
Yeah,
inking style, everything. It's amazing.
yeah. So him, and then Richard Corbin. Now I would say like those three. It's even though I like all their drawings, like just the draftmanships, but it's more the storytelling for me that's
Yes,
influential. It's not like how you know these guys drew a hand or a foot. It's like how they put the story together and
that's
how
it.
their
Yes.
panels, how they compose their panels.
I like how you describe influence as being almost like a soup. Like, because in some degree, I think
That's
about that. It's like there's
yes.
some artists that you might not see any of my artwork being actually looking like their artwork, but to some
Right.
degree, like there is a little bit of their spice that might be in my
Yeah.
stuff. And that's a
Yeah.
good way of
That
describing it.
yes, that I agree. I 100% agree on
Yeah. Because there's a
Gotcha.
lot
I
of
mean,
artists like that
yeah, I
that I
didn't make
wouldn't,
that up, but
that.
but it's
but
it's, it's a very appropriate way of talking about art because you
Yes.
don't you tend to like when you're younger, as you were saying, like you copy drawings. And I even
yeah.
copy drawings sometimes now, sort of going like, okay, well, how does this
Mhm.
guy do this? Just for kind of
Yes,
curiosity.
that's it.
I
Yeah.
might not draw like them ever again, but it's sort of
Right.
like having done that, I've kind of learned something, and then and it could be something like the way Larson draws slime on Venom's
Mhm.
mouth. That later on, when I'm drawing water, it'll influence me.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it's that sort of thing, and it may seem like so minor and tiny, but it's like it is that soup. It's all those little
Mhm.
ingredients that you get from these books, and even though your work looks nothing like them, because they have their own soup, you've got like
Right.
an ingredient from their soup that you put into yours. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
No,
like that.
100%. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was working on something like a couple of weeks ago. Like I was doing this splash page. And while I was drawing it, I'd watched, I don't know if you've seen Michelle Fife's series on what's his name? Griffin. Ken Ken Griffin, whatever.
Keith Giffen?
Giffen, yes, Keith Giffen. That's the one. Right.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
watching that, and there's this issue that he did of some random Marvel comic, one of the new universe books, and I saw the way that he did like the splash page and how he had it like it was in a city, but the buildings were all black and like the windows were just like white, but it was like yellow in the comic. So I saw how he did that. I was like, and I was drawing a building, and I was like, oh man, I kind of take some of that idea instead of just rendering all these bricks.
That's it.
I just have
Yes.
some of it be like black, and then so I did that, and then there's like a car that I'm drawing to, and I don't know if you guys look at Instagram for like artists and stuff all the time,
Yes.
but I do. So there's this guy named Raymar Brunson, I think. Like he does some stuff for
Oh,
Cosmic Lion. Oh man, I think Ghost Man is his comic. And so he
okay.
has, I think I want to say he's younger, like maybe in his like mid 20s or something, but he just has a really slick style. It's very like pared back. It's almost like I don't know, Bruce Timm and Mike Mignola sort of.
Oh, okay.
So it's very like sparse. So I'm drawing this car, and then normally like when I draw cars, like I'll have like the windshield, and then I'll have like just some lines that kind of indicate the lighting and stuff. But after seeing his work, I'm like, why don't I just make that black? Let's see how that looks. So I tried that
But
out, and then I get to the wheels of the car, and then I'm just
but
like, yeah,
you know what? In certain cases, Chris and I talked about this quite a bit in previous episodes, where you have certain artists that you know have the simplest style, but then they'll draw out perfect car.
yeah,
You know, and again, the name keeps coming up. Sergio Aragonis and Jamie Hewlett are two examples of this, where you look at both of their work. Humans are like stick figures, but meanwhile, the
mhm.
background's amazing.
I never thought that way about Sergio Agronis because I mean I remember he had that comic with the Gru the Barbarian.
But look at the backgrounds. Look at the ships. They're
Yeah,
detailed. The
yeah,
ships are like amazing detail
He's got
on,
every rope drawn in.
yeah,
right.
every rope, everything's drawn. But on
Yeah,
the other
no, you're
hand,
right.
Gru and all the secondary characters are like, fin legs, cartoony
Mhm.
figures. And even the
Yeah,
cities, when he draws the cities, the villages, they're detailed.
Yeah. And
man.
Bill
See,
Watterson's also like that too,
yeah,
like Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
I needed
Yes.
you guys when I was a kid to tell me that because I just looked at Gru the Barbarian and I was like, oh, it's kind of goofy, whatever. But since he wasn't drawing like John Byrne or like really any of those Marvel guys, I was just kind of like, so that's
Oh
like
yeah. Yeah.
whatever. But
He's
Same here.
just worth
now,
looking at.
Yes, it
but
is.
now
Take
I'm
a look
like,
at
oh
one
my
of the
god,
books.
this dude was drawing this stuff, and he
Yeah.
wasn't like
No, take a
stopping.
look and you'll be staring at the splash pages. Seriously. You'll be looking at it going, how the hell did he, how much time did he spend on this?
Yeah,
Yeah, he drew a village and he drew every person in it.
right. Yeah, I'll
So
definitely take a look at that stuff.
So mentioning that, what was the very first comic book you ever bought that said, "Hey, wow"?
Um, it's funny because I don't remember the first comic that I got. I mean, I probably wasn't even like 5 years old, but the first comics that really like stuck out to me, I would say was Jim Starling's Dreadstar and Company, which that was a reprint that Epic did of his Dreadstar. And so I know it sounds like super obscure for like a first comic that impressed you, but yeah, I grew up in New York City and like back in the 80s, I feel like you could find comics everywhere. Like you went
Everywhere,
to
yes.
yeah, you went to like a stationery store, they got tons of comics. You go to like a smoke shop, comics everywhere. So you didn't even necessarily need the comic shop. So, yeah, I would just find those books and yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, this is kind of like Star Wars, but there's like this superhero thing." So, and then, just the storytelling was real. That's what kind of like kept me. But yeah, so I think if we're gonna get specific, it's probably Dreadstar and Company 3.
Okay, well, that's good.
So, but yeah, and that actually led me to Epic Illustrated. So it kind of kept me off just like the Marvel and DC stuff, like the superhero stuff. I
Oh
mean, of
no,
course, yeah, that stuff.
getting started with Epic. Oh, Epic was amazing at that time. They were
Oh
pretty.
yeah,
They had some amazing artists on their books at that time.
people always talk about heavy metal, but
No, Epic had. Come on, they
yeah, it
had
was like
Kent Williams, John J. Move, and other
yeah,
guys. All those
Yeah.
guys doing amazing work on those books.
Because
Yeah.
I found with heavy metal, you would get like a good story here and there, but then
Right.
there'd also often be a lot of stuff you're like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And
So
a
yeah,
lot of that stuff was just like straight up pornographic, which I mean that it is what it is, but
mhm.
yeah, it's
The
Well,
story wasn't
Epic,
always great.
yeah.
no, that was the one of the issues with heavy metal. The stories were so. One thing with Epic was, I mean, you had a good guy in charge who, what's his name, Archie Goodwin.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was an amazing writer and everything. So you had a guy who knew good storytelling, good art. And when you have someone like that in charge, that's what you produce.
Yeah. Yeah, he died way too young.
Yes, he did. Yes. So now this is when you mentioned Instagram and stuff like that. I want to ask you about this. You did a
Yeah.
20-page comic in a month.
Um
Penciled the post you did. Was it last week or the week before?
oh no. It definitely wasn't 20 pages. It was more like I think overall like 7 pages about so I drew them about in 2 weeks, but then like 2 weeks before I was just thinking of the story and then you're kind of like, oh damn, this deadline's coming up quick. I gotta get drawing. So,
So what's your process like in anything like that? Like, do you sketch and do layouts? Are you just like I go to the page and just whatever happens? Are you what kind of
um
artist do you think you are?
yeah, so it's weird for me. It's like a super piecemeal process because normally, like, yeah, I'm trying to think if I've ever drawn something that someone else has like written, and I don't think so. So usually, like I'll do this method that I found out about from Howard Chaykin, which is like you basically you think of your story, you get uh, these things and then you each one is like a page. So page one splash page,
Oh, okay.
page two, they go to eat in a diner and then a monster breaks in, and then page three, whatever, so on and so forth. And then I get those, and some people would kind of, I guess, go to a typewriter from there. I don't. I'm just like, all right, time to like lay out pages. So then I have a template, one of these
Oh,
things.
nice.
Yeah, and then in a sketchbook, I'll just kind of, just draw some of those and then kind of fill them in. And yeah, just kind of just build up like piece by piece. Sometimes though, like even before I do a layout, I'll have ideas for panels and then I'll just kind of sketch that out in a sketchbook and kind of see how it'll work and then kind of take those and put it into like the pages like later. So
That's kind of cool.
So
it's
now
structured,
from
but
that,
it's organic.
now when you do your sketches and layouts, are they detailed or are they loose?
I let's see, I might have some.
Well, we could post some up after on the afterwards. And you said you do them in sketchbooks, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, like I do just like just a lot of just drawing of random things. Like if I see something, like I was watching a video of some woman running, I guess. Oh, so there's this band called Amel and the Sniffers. Super random, but they were on, I think it was like an NPR type thing or something. And the lead singer looks kind of like a cheerleader, like that's her shtick. So I did a whole bunch of little, it's hard to see, but a little, a couple of studies. So I do stuff like that all the time, pretty much.
Yeah.
So when you do your page layouts, when you sketch it out, do you blow them up and copy them onto the page? What's your process?
Oh,
You
that's a
going onto the
great
page.
question. Okay, so I've kind of done the blow up thing. Yeah, and these are actually some layouts, but they're on blue lines, so unfortunately it's gonna be kind of hard to see.
Yes. No, we
But
could see them. Yeah.
okay. But yeah, so I'll just do them like this, and then once I find something I like, what I've done in the past is then I'll go to a page that's like this big, maybe it's gridded paper, and then kind of lay out again like tighter. And then after that, put it into Photoshop, then print out something, put it on this thing over here. It's like light pad, and then
Oh, light
transfer.
table. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And
We
then
haven't
after
seen a light
that,
table in yeah, a long time. Someone using one,
oh
Chris.
well, so this is a pad, actually. It's kind of like thin.
Oh, wow.
But this is like the ones old school
The
light
traditional,
boxes.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know you guys worked in art stores before. So I mean,
But I've never seen the pad thing.
I think these are about like 10, maybe 15 years old. I started seeing them. And so they have LED lights, and they're
How
actually,
about that? I like that. I like that because
oh
the old I used to have one old one like 12 by 18 one, and no joke, it was like this thick, and it
yeah,
was like yours. It was bulky
yeah,
to carry, and it was annoying to use. But that,
yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah, no, I mean this is, I think this one is like 12 by 18, and you could probably get on Amazon for, I'm gonna say like $100, give or take.
Okay. See,
But yeah,
Chris,
no,
we're learning something new today. I I didn't know of that.
but yeah, no,
And
this super super helpful for that stuff, and also for drawing like in reverse. I don't know if you guys ever
Yeah.
did that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so
So
I
that
so when you get
saw.
to that, so when you're going, so when you sort of have your big thing, I assume, do you do it in blue? Are you going straight to pencil? Are you
That's what
going
I was
straight
going to
to ink?
ask.
Like what's
oh so actually I'll just pull out a page. Yeah, so this is actually that page that I was talking about earlier with the Keith Giffen stuff.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so like these, you can kind of see like there's some like blue line. So I'll just draw it all in blue, because that way when you go to scan it, you don't have to clean up as much stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have such a problem with that for some reason. Like the lead, just I'll erase it, but I won't get
we
everything.
we
Yeah,
just had we had an episode where we talked about erasers and whiteouts and stuff like that. And oh, sometimes it's annoying erasing the pencil lines.
yeah. So the blue lines, that kind of eliminates that, because you could just go into Photoshop, and then you go to like it's not a filter, but it's like a adjustment, and you adjust it to
Yeah.
black and white, and then you get a bunch of things like I don't know what do you call those things, but like
Yeah.
adjustments for each.
Yeah. It's when you
Yes.
adjust your contrast and everything like that.
Yeah,
Contrast
yeah,
and
so it's
brightness.
not
You
all
boost
the
your
blue
Contrast
out.
and yes.
you boost up your contrast and also take down all your colors, and the
Yeah,
blue just
Yes, that's
disappears.
it.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
why we had an episode where I think I asked Derek Barton about that because Derek was using red pencils. And
yeah.
I've seen people online doing that, and I'm old
Yeah.
traditional guy where it's
Oh,
like blue
you're
pencil
just
or
like blue.
yeah, blue. And I when I saw the red and I saw some other colors, and I'm going, and I remember asking Derek, not on the podcast, but I was asking, going, what are you doing? He explained it the same way as you did, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
interesting. I could use
As
other
long as
colored
it's a color,
pencils
you're
for
fine.
this.
yeah.
That's it. Yes.
You know what though? When there's a danger to that, because like when I was doing this book, right? Like I kind of just used blue for the people. I had red for like backgrounds, and then I had like green for like objects. But that just made everything really hard to clean up. It just got super messy. For some
Oh,
reason, I
wow.
couldn't get rid of the colors as much as I wanted to. So that was super frustrating. So after that experience, I was like, oh, why don't I just try to use like the blue lead, and then just keep like
Oh, never thought
yeah,
about
just
that.
keep
So
the
maybe
light.
just stick to one color so you could
Yeah,
just drop that one color
right.
out easily.
But I will put a little graphite in there because like the blue, it's kind of just there's not much contrast, so it's kind of hard to see what you're doing. So right now I'm looking at a drawing that I'm kind of
Mhm.
working on, and yeah. So if the blue gets hard to see, like if there's like a face or something, and you really want to get it tight, like then I'll go in with the regular lead pencil. But
Yeah.
I still won't do like the inked drawings. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
No, it
Some
makes
people
sense. Yeah.
do a drawing and you could just like, print it from there. You don't need ink.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just try to keep it very basic and then do more with the inking, which I wasn't
That's the
doing
one.
that before.
Yes. That's another question I was going to bring up. How tight do you keep your pencils? Because again, someone like me and Chris and I had this talk where me, sometimes I wear stick figures or light loose pencil, very loose pencil. Other times
Yeah.
are tight. Depends on what mood I'm in on that page.
Yeah. I would say for me, it's kind of the same, but it used to be like when I was doing this book and when I was doing the one before, it was just like super tight. Like I pretty much could have inked just from the pencils, which
Yeah.
I think it's good to kind of do that. But then after a while, you're kind of like, well, I'm just drawing this twice, and
Yeah.
why would I do that? And
Yeah. We
also,
always say that
yeah,
the two styles are you're either tracing or you're drawing with your inks.
right,
And
yeah,
so it's one or
exactly.
the other. You tend to find that
Yes.
like
Yes.
sometimes you're drawing with your inks and sometimes you're tracing. I tend to prefer to draw with my inks because if I don't, I get bored. Like
I'm the same way.
it looks
Yes.
so stiff. And so if I have a looser drawing, then when I go in with the inks, it stays loose. Whereas if I have a really tight drawing, it just gets tighter and tighter and more sort of horrible. So
Ooh.
you know, so that tends to be my style. So, but people, I mean, I've seen some people who can ink on top of. We've had talked to a few people who have like the most beautiful detailed pencils and they can still ink and keep it. But I just
Our
can't. Like,
last
the
our
minute
last
I ink a detailed
interview.
drawing, forget it.
Last interview, remember Will Conrad? He said how tight he keeps pencils, and he goes, his pencils are like you said, where you can reproduce it just from the pencils. Now,
Yeah.
once you do your pencil, like your pencils, the post I've seen on Instagram, your pencils are tight.
So this is from Cascadian Demo 2. It's a page I have here. So I don't know if you guys do this, but if you have a panel that doesn't work, like I do here, like I won't paste over it. I'll just do it on a sheet of paper and then scan it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, maybe let's see if I don't know if you guys can see this, but
Yes.
yeah, so that's kind of the way that I would pencil before.
Yeah.
See,
And
to me, that's tight pencils.
yeah, and then this was like the layout. Remember I was telling you how I did the
Yes.
layout and
Yes.
then yeah. So like I took this thing, put it here, and then kind of traced it, then penciled it, and then inked it.
That's an old school process I haven't seen people use in a long time.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of old school like you, so
I kind of like that because I like the idea that you're sort of improving your art. Like to me, every time I do a version, like from my layout to my final piece, it's just about how can I make this a little bit better each time. It's like it doesn't have to go from crap to perfect, but it's sort of with all those layers, you can kind of just adjust things a little bit each time. And it's an easier process for me, like to draw something, to draw my page. Like I draw them maybe 4 times in different sizes and such by the time. And by that point, it's like, okay, I'm like, it's getting better each time. And maybe I'll adjust something. Maybe I'll switch a
Yeah.
panel. Maybe I'll do this and that. It's a better way for me to think. Like, I know some people can just go like from their tiny little layout and you're done. But for me, it's just that I like that. I like the stages.
yeah. I like them too, but I find like lately I'm kind of starting to cut things away just because like there's just not enough time. Like that last comic that I was working on, it just had a strict deadline and I have a day job. So I just
Oh,
have to
yes.
fit it in. but I feel like I did my time drawing slowly. So now it's just, I don't know. I feel like it's actually just easier if I kind of do it quicker for me, just because it's quicker, but B, I kind of trust myself more. So
That's what I was about to say. You have more confidence as
yeah, like I don't
the more.
second guess myself. Like when I was doing this book, a lot of it was kind of just second guessing myself and kind of just being a little bit more of a perfectionist than I needed to be. But I also feel like I needed to do that so that now like I don't have to draw as much. Like I had to go through that. So now I could just be like, oh, okay, forget that.
So now, pencil wise, now inking. How do you
Yeah.
ink your work?
This thing, this brush, it's a Raphael. Let's see, what is it? Let's see, 8 4 4 4 8 4. Yeah, so it's
Well,
like
if
the
if you can't read the numbers, that means it's been used a lot.
yeah, it's been kind of like worn. It's been kind of worn. Um, but yeah. So I use that bunch of different nibs. This is like a Japanese G pen, and it's nice. Um, the standard microns that people have, but just mostly a brush,
I
mostly
can
a
tell by
brush.
your work, it's got this sort of flowy. I mean, it fits your
Yeah.
style, so it totally works with you to use mostly
Yeah.
brush. So
I mean, I just it's just for me, it's just easiest pretty much. It's just like, okay, this is a tool that I learned how to use really well. And honestly, there's other people like I don't know if you know who Sandra Hope is, but she's
Yes.
like an inker, like wild. She used to be a Wild Storm inker. Now she works for DC. And watching her ink, like the lines that she can get out of her brush,
Oh,
it's
yes.
mind boggling. Because I have like about one or two strokes, and she has like 20 different ones that she could use. So
So now, once you ink, how much digital work do you put into your work?
um so like I'll digitally color stuff. I'll digitally like assemble stuff. Like, I'll put like a logo on top of a cover digitally, but I don't always like with the thing I showed you before, I don't always just do it all on one piece of paper because sometimes you want the freedom
Yes.
to resize stuff.
yeah,
So but other than that, not much. I would rather just correct it on the paper itself and then just scan it again. But
So have you attempted digital art like
I've
tablet
tried,
and
I've tried stuff. I actually so I did this piece of fan art for a friend's book like about 10 years ago. And one of the drawings was of like an NES character, Samus from Metroid. So I did that as pixel art. So like I drew it like I would normally draw it, and then I inked it. But then I traced over it in Photoshop with, just using pixel art, I
yeah.
guess, just doing each individual pixel, which was super difficult. But, I mean, I think it looks cool. I wish I were better at it.
There's
But with that,
systems. I'll tell you with pixel art, I've done a few of them and a few
yeah.
projects, both professionally and otherwise.
Oh, nice.
And once in Photoshop, you can actually, I built a grid and I could just bring art in and just pixelate things. I have a pixelated gummy bear that I did. I did an entire dinosaur skull pixelated. And it was one of those things where it's like, I did the gummy bear first and I developed the system. And then once I did it, it's like, I can pretty much bring any drawing into that system and it's quick. So it's really
wow.
like pixel art is like one of those things where it's like, you have to pick the right piece of art. So it's got the nice sort of shape to it. But then
Mhm.
after that, like if you I can even later show you the system.
Yeah.
But it's like after you do that, it's like it's time consuming, but it's easy.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, drawing curves is kind of challenging.
yeah.
But then, like once you do it and then you look at like video games, you can kind of see how like it's both demystifying, but it's still like when you look at the Street Fighter games, like, oh my God, how do they draw all of that, like pixels, and especially back in the day, like,
Yeah.
yeah, but
So
that's about
then,
it. I don't do digital stuff for the most part.
yeah. What do you use as far as like you said digital coloring? Is it Photoshop that you're using?
Yeah, it's Photoshop. I just have a little Wacom tablet, nothing too fancy.
Yep.
But the colors, I'm trying to simplify them because I feel like I put in enough with the black and white. Like, why am I essentially like painting this? I already have this drawing. If I just put some colors over it, it's gonna look fine.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, your artwork is very sort of, I mean, you've got big chunks of black. That's something I'm terrified of. But you've got big chunks of black, and it's so it's like, why would you add a bunch of color besides? It's like Frank Miller, even if you look at Frank Miller's stuff, he's got big chunks of black, and even um, like Hellboy stuff. If you actually look at the
Oh
coloring,
yeah,
it's super simple, but it's if you went more complicated with it, you'd ruin it. So I totally get the idea of keeping your palette, keeping your colors just really simple for that type of thing. Because if you've got
Yes.
good, strong blacks, don't screw them up with color,
yeah.
for sure.
Well, I mean, I feel like you can just use them if you really want to get crazy with the colors. You kind of treat it like oil painting or something, and it's just like an underlayer, and then you're kind of building on top of that. I
Yeah.
mean, I could see that you do that too, but
But this
yeah,
is the conversation
I
we
agree
had
with you.
in another episode where, Rob Mursky and we were talking, saying, you know, for the amount of time it takes to draw a page, you're spending almost the same time coloring the page or more. And sometimes you want to take a step back and say, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, that also yes. It's funny because everyone makes the coloring seem like it's just so light and simple, but
It's
sometimes
not. It's
it's
not.
worse than drawing.
Yes, it's not. It's not
Yeah.
simple
Shout
at
out to
all.
the colorist.
Oh yeah. Good
I
colorists, at
mean,
least. There's so many bad
Oh, good
colorists out
color.
there, but there's
oh
there's a few good
yeah,
ones. You
Yeah,
know.
but even the bad ones, I mean, that's still time consuming. It's like sitting down and, doing that. That's, you know, kudos to good ones and bad ones.
right.
So, question, where can people find your books?
So right now, so I've had work. So I don't know if you guys have, if you ever watched Cartoonist Kayfabe, that
Yes.
channel. Yeah. So after that ended, like a group of people got together, that were fans of that show, and they made some books for about 2 years. So I have a couple of things floating around with them that I've done.
Yes.
But I personally, right now, I don't have anything to sell because of what we talked about earlier, how expensive it
Yes.
is.
Yep.
But we are doing so this like a different group of friends. Um, but we're putting together a book for 420, which is like in a couple of days. And unfortunately, that got a little held back because the person that's running the book, he's dealing with moving and, yeah, his mom has like some health issues that he's helping her out
Trust
with.
me, life comes in the way. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's been like delayed a little bit. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have something. But yeah, so I'm on Instagram at
Yeah, we'll put your links at the bottom here.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
all your links,
yeah, because I think it's at the real introverted art Instagram at Instagram. That's about my only social media. I
Yeah.
don't really I don't know. Facebook just seems super toxic for me. So I kind of just keep away from it.
no, long as you're on Instagram, people will get to see your work. So, and you've been posting a lot. So, what we could
Oh,
do is we'll put a post link to your Instagram page.
oh, thank you. I honestly, I don't think I post enough. There's some people that post like I don't know if you've seen Saw Blade 666, but
No.
oh my God, Daniel Saw Blade's a beast. I mean, I could spend all day just talk up all my artist friends. So yeah. So I
I
don't want
like
to
to post every day, but honestly, it's just like
yeah,
you said,
life
we have
gets in
day
the way.
jobs, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And then, if you're drawing comics too, it's like I don't want to show you my whole book because then when
Yes,
it's
that's
done,
another thing. Yeah.
I want to have some mystery. I want to surprise you, But yeah, no, that dude, he posts every day and I see it kind of
Chris
works.
does that also. Chris posts every day also.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm an
Nice.
everyday guy.
Unfortunately, that the algorithm is kind of against you seeing like your friends post. So uh
That's that's why we have this, because we want to talk to people and get people out there that are
Yes.
like, show off different work. Because it's even
yeah,
today we've learned so much from you, and
I've learned from you
it's our
guys.
system. So
So, Chris, do you want to ask him the final question?
our last question, the most important question that you can't get wrong, you'll get in trouble. Who would win in a fight, Superman or the Hulk?
Oh, Superman. Like there's not even a question.
And why is that? Would you care to explain?
uh, let me count the ways.
Remember,
Like
remember, our channel is called Geek Shop, so you know.
yeah. So the Hulk, essentially, he's super strong and he gets stronger, right? So he can like leap, but he can't fly. But Superman, I mean, it's in the name. He's super. He has everyone's powers. You want him to be fast like the Flash. He got you. Strong like the Hulk. He could probably do that too. Although I think the Hulk probably would be stronger, but yeah, no, Superman. So many ways that he has that beat.
Awesome.
Perfect. That's a great way to end the episode. Well, thank you for joining us, Bill.
Oh, thank you. This has been fun.